Good morning, happy Friday. It's like 11 o'clock here now, so the morning's kind of almost the afternoon. But I hope you're having a good one. I've got some coffee in hand, so I'm all jazzed. And also had a good morning, actually. So woke up, normal time, and I cooked breakfast. It was a fun breakfast, and I like to usually keep it easy and simple during the weekday mornings. But I made stuffed bell peppers with egg and sausage and tomato and cheese, and they were so yummy. It was very nice. And then I actually worked out just in the gym upstairs doing strength training, and so that was good. Normally if I do exercise in the mornings on Fridays, it's been my walks with the dog, but honestly with all the snow I'm still waiting on that. So I was like, well, I still want to get something done, so I did true strength training, and it's been a hot minute. It's been like a month, so my body's already feeling it, but it was good. And throughout all that, I've been trying to work back to kind of leaning into my parts work, and by parts work it's more so just understanding the different aspects of myself. I follow IFS for internal family systems when it comes to therapeutic practices, and it's helped me a lot to understand where different parts of me get activated, and learning why, but also learning to accept those parts of me because everything's there for a reason, and being able to give it space to be able to do all that. So I used to be a lot more in tune with myself. And it makes sense because I was able to have the time and capacity to, in the mornings, journal outside. Even when I had the dog, I got back into that practice, and I used to love writing. And so I was doing that, and that was my morning ritual. I would stretch in the morning, I would go outside. That was a morning ritual. That was body to mind. And of course I was eating well, eating by myself, all those different things, eating by myself, cooking food all the time. That was a big thing. And I think I leaned away and kind of shut off some of the in progress retrospective work of understanding myself, and I've been trying to get back into it as of late. And I've had stints of it throughout the whole new life experience of buying the house, and that was in May, going through all the renovations, but a lot of that bled negatively into my life, where because I was so tired mentally, and I also started a new job, so knowing me, I started 3 new big life changes all at the same time. I love being stressed out, so normally I love change. And I used to think, and I was under this perspective of I still love this change throughout all of this process, and I'm adapting, right? Question mark. And I was struggling with the adapting part. I used to think, and I do think, I was pretty good at adapting. I think where it falters, not falters, but it's different, is when the change is super new and kind of puts everything upside down in a way I've never seen the upside down before. So how do I learn that new thing in a quick manner? And that's the thing, is I have these expectations of myself for how I do carry my change, and I have felt struggle bossy with even moving in the house in October, thinking I would adapt that quickly without really understanding the severity of, you have a dog by yourself that's still a kind of teenager. She's a year and 4 months at this point. Her first birthday was in September, and so she's a year old. But adapting to that, plus new house, bigger space to clean and maintain, having to maintain everything, and new job that is not remote anymore. I have to commute. There's flexibility, which is great, but all of those factors combined, I just had to, I didn't have to, but it made it easier to just shut off parts of my brain to go into just survival autopilot and do what I've known to do, which meant to me that I miss that introspective part of myself that took the time to sit to try to learn what my feelings are too, and like allow them to come up. And so I've regressed a little bit in that area, and I'm trying to get back to that. Part of it, I do inherently like I conflate, I think, a lot of things. So my introspective work, I conflate sometimes, or try to also kind of keep on the same like playing field of each other, is my emotional labor and my like physical body labor, if that makes sense, for like eating healthy, exercising, doing the right things. And I have some good routines like down for that stuff. Like I am a grandma at heart. Like I will be in bed by 9 o'clock. I don't like staying up late. I'm not a party girl. I'm not a drinker. Like I'm 30 at this point, just freshly 30. And like, I don't really do anything that like warrants, I guess, making myself feel like I'm at a worse position to start, if that makes any sense. So if you go to bed at midnight every night, you don't get enough like sleep, you're gonna feel tired. More likely it's going to be a struggle bus long term. Like there's some things that are just ingrained in myself now, and I know myself for what I need to avoid and what I can take on. But so I've preserved and held that kind of deep to my heart, where like I'm just not, my threshold, like I finally have learned how to say less of like the yes all the time when it's past my capacity and I'm really not like aligned with it, without being like negative Nancy about it. It's just, hey, like I just know I'm not gonna want to do this thing, and like, and it also conflicts with this. No. If it's like, oh, this is a cool opportunity, it's scary, it's challenging, okay. Like that was my whole thing with my I'm doing a symposium talk in April, and that was scary because I go to the symposium, it's like it's project management stuff, and I get my PDUs for Project Management Institute, the PMI, to make sure all my certs stay maintained. And so I go to that, but I have a topic of project scope. Like it bugs me deeply to my core. I'm very passionate about it, for how people manage project scope, and I want to talk about that, plus the usage, of course, of just LLMs to actually make our lives easier. Total typical topic in my opinion, but I love it. I submitted an abstract for it. I took the time to like put things together, and it was a challenge. I was scared because I've never done a big talk before, hence why I'm even wanting to document myself so I can learn how to more fluidly and quickly create messagings and structures to my talks. So like that was a challenge, but I didn't go poo-pooing it or saying no because I'm too scared. It was like, I'm too scared, but this could be kind of cool, and it's a challenge and it's a risk. Cool. Put it in the ether. I can't control what happens, and I got accepted. So it's like now I get to learn something new, and it's scary. I have to practice a lot, and it's something on my plate, but it's also something I prioritize. So it's like, I guess I personally, because I unfortunately have to had very brutal, honest conversations with myself, like, and I am very self-critical, which is horrible. Like, it's sad where I don't see other people in that way, but when I see myself that way, we're always our worst critic. But I feel like it's always been amplified, and some of that's my upbringing, not from like my parents imposing things on me, but more of the type of stress that was in my household leads to that, and that's a totally different conversation. Anyway, like I miss being able to articulate and being able to converse and think about these things, and I always do like self-development stuff anyway. Like I love just learning new things, and that means I go on YouTube and I listen to different people's perspectives on life or blah 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 blah, and I love that stuff, but I lost it, and that's fine. And then the problem with it is I didn't accept myself for where I am, and I'm going through that process and slowing down, and I go through these bouts of like making good progress on slowing down and just knowing, hey, I'm a person and there's this tiny little thing I want to change. Let's make tiny little changes and keep going that way. And I And constantly, and it's always been a thing of having to work myself out of like, you should have done this thing. Damn it. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, that's where I'm at, if that makes any sense. And I'm excited because I've never talked to anybody really about it outside of like maybe close friends and maybe like my partner. But I think it's cool to bring it out to the ether because I am learning a lot about how to be vulnerable in different areas of life with different types of people. Like even at work, I have a female mentor, the first one ever in my whole career, and she's awesome. And we're very similar wavelength wise. And I, for the first time ever, was able to be open and expressive without a fear of it negatively impacting me in my review or whatever. It's just like just talking about feelings and emotions as they come up with work is also a healthy thing because we're not emotionless people. Even if we think we are, that's an emotion in itself of detachment, right? And that's my thought process and perspective. But like, I think it's really valuable, and I'm starting to learn that muscle and how to attune it to the right conversations and the right time and the right people and the right ways and the right level of influence with that. And like, so I don't know. So I'm kind of rambling, but I am trying to start getting back into leaning into myself emotionally through trying out different types of journaling, where my therapist mentioned a different cool technique of like writing a whole thought process with one hand and then responding with another hand, so you have to like shift in your different brains. And then I did yoga last night for the first time in forever, just like stretching, just like feeling loosey-goosey, like, ooh, we love it. And that was like maybe 10 minutes and I felt good and my brain felt good. I was breathing, I was just slowing myself down. And also the, you know, kind of bringing it back to the, I think a lot of like how you do physically and what you put in your body reflects a lot of your health as well. I know it's not always the case, but like I needed to reroute that too. So even doing those things at the same time without trying to overburden myself. That's the key thing, is like, I think small change over time is the actual right change that's consistent. I think a lot of people agree with that. And just doing things that are tiny little droplets of effort in the bucket, cool, Gucci. Like, we love that. And so I'm trying to get into that mindset again and just being happy with it, like accepting myself, accepting that I'm in situations that are out of my control, accepting that I did bring on a lot of change, and yes, I'm responsible for it. And it's my first time. It's okay that I didn't know that I didn't know that I didn't know that like it takes a year to get used to a new house. You know, I could have Googled to the nth degree, but you still learn stuff regardless of how much you Google and overanalyze. What's the cortisol levels of, like, what benefits you with higher cortisol from overthinking and freaking out over everything? So like, I don't know if any of this made sense. Maybe I sound crazy. I hope not. I hope other people relate to big change and leaning away from yourself and then getting back to yourself. Like, that's the whole thing. I love that. That's my, that's a concept I talk about with Chris every once in a while, is like, when you're with a partner, the way that you stay attuned with each other and the way that you stay open is you lean into it. You're curiously like approaching things first and not leaning away and disassociating and detaching. And that's what I've been doing with myself in order to keep moving. So, yeah. I don't know if any of that made sense. If any of it made sense, let me know it resonated with you, because I love talking about this stuff. And like, I know my message is not very clear, I'm sure, and it's also contradictory. I'm even talking about accepting myself and I'm saying that I'm poo-pooing my own stuff. But call me out. Call yourself out. I'm interested. I want to know what people deal with. I'm sure I'm not the only person on this planet. I know I'm not the only person on this planet. And I just want to find people who also want to talk about this type of stuff. So, anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. have a good cup of coffee. I have a bear mug today. I love collecting mugs. I had to get rid of some in the move, but I'm gonna make a mug holder for the kitchen so I can put them on display because I don't have enough cupboard space. And that's not because I have too many mugs, but I don't have enough cupboards in my kitchen for the mugs. I promise. Okay, but I love him. He's a bear. I got this from my sister in California, in Whole Foods in California. I remember my good mugs. Okay. And bears are my favorite animal, so I love a good bear. Okay. Awkward Friday done. Love y'all. Please enjoy your weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.